Okay, I might as well make content out of this. What content like following a strategy? You do on the whole event, watch it get like 4 views.
I am waiting for this stupid update to come out. They said it was gonna come out at 8, but now it's 9:56. God damn, I hate this. Tower Defense Simulator is one of Roblox's biggest tower defense games, and they've recently released their so-called biggest update ever, with the Lunar Overture season and their Halloween event. Me, being a total completionist and playing since the very beginning, decided to try it out. Not because my friends were forcing me to play this godforsaken game. The event is about... Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. Besides the whole event, there's new skins to acquire and new towers to collect, and I'll be 100% completing Tower Defense Simulator's new event. This video took over 27 hours to do, and play, and edit, so I do hope you enjoy this video. And if you do, why not press the like button? It's blue. So, I mean blue is a cool color, so why not press it, I guess. Anyways, enjoy the video. Before we get into more detail, the entire event is split up into 3 different acts, unlocking every 3 days or so, with the exception of Act 3 being delayed from the 3rd of November to the 11th of November. The first act was released on the 28th of October 2023, and served as a very simple and beginner-friendly only the rich people could survive. It's crazy. Okay, maybe the less experienced individuals can beat the first part of the event, but most likely you'll be following a strategy from the TDS Discord server. Firstly, you only get paid if your towers have fully defeated an enemy, meaning if the guy doing supports with using Commander or DJ Booth, for example, will not get paid at all, which itself is pretty dumb. Second, take a look at the first enemy of the round, this little pumpkin kid. He has 16 health. The Scout, the tower that everyone unlocks when they first join, deals 1 damage every 1.5 seconds, which means it will take the Scout 24 seconds to fully kill the little rascal, and there's like 6 of them in the first wave. To be fair, the event is locked for players under level 25, and nobody in the right mind is going to use the Scout, unless it's golden. Then we're talking. The round also features the swapping scenery gimmick, which is seen in Acts 1 and 2, where after wave 9 all your towers get refunded and you have to place them back as the round progresses. This, in my opinion, is a really good feature for you because you can get rid of those low-level stinky early game towers and place down those high-damage Giga-Tad towers instead. The other enemies are just there, I guess, but I do like the callbacks to the previous events like the Solar Eclipse event in 2021 or the 6-month-long Halloween event in 2020. I'm not kidding, search that up. The final boss of the event is an Executioner plush, which follows the theme of most enemies being plushies or being animated at 12 frames per second. For some reason, I don't know why. If you're rich and then you probably own the Accelerator, one of the best towers in the game. Simply placing them down will immediately allow you to win the game. No kidding. The event also features a narrator who may or may not be evil. Cutscenes are also present, which is pretty damn nice to see. Although they're just for the try-hard TDS lore fans analyzing every single pixel into one of these cutscenes. When you beat an act, you'll get a chance to acquire user-generated content created by the developers like hats, accessories, etc. I got lucky while playing Act 1 and acquired this Pump Kid Shoulder Pal, which I'm not gonna complain about since it looks pretty cool. Many people disliked it because of how you acquire these accessories, that being a random chance every time you beat an act, which led to thousands spending hours upon hours trying to acquire one stupid hat. Anyway, Act 1 is pretty simple to understand, and I don't have much to say about it, so there's that. But Act 2 is where stuff gets wild. Act 2, released on Halloween of 2023, is a pretty big step up from the previous act. Low-key, I was pretty blown away by the OST. That is one thing that TDS does disappoint, and that is the music. Unfortunately, the second phase's music doesn't play, and I don't think it's been fixed yet as of writing this script. More about the event, it takes place again in older Halloween event maps, such as the Halloween 2019 and 2020 maps respectively. Yet again, only the rich people can survive. Star towers like the Golden Pyromancer and Golden Soldier work really efficiently, while level 2 ace pilots, mortars, and commanders for support can clean up everything else. There are more enemies this time, some returning from Act 1 and some also returning from other events with their own unique abilities. Hidden to arrive at Wave 5, and then there's flying enemies for some reason. I don't know why, but they just decided to throw it in there, I guess. I still don't know what. I also don't understand why the towers don't just point up to defeat them. I mean, look at Golden Soldier. It is flying detection. Why does it have flying detection? I'm so confused. But anyways, a couple more waves later, and then this giant skeleton spawns at wave 9 with a whopping 1.4k HP. This is where those ace pilots come in handy. They deal massive damage, but only in a certain radius. After you defeat those skeletons, the next phase is a little bit different. The map is huge, but more tankier and stronger enemies lurk from every corner. Again, accelerators easily melt these enemies, but others such as Ranger, Minigunner, and Pursuit can deal massive amounts of damage. Mortar can also clean up the smaller enemies from the previous phase. Repeat this for around 10 waves until the boss spawns, the Jack-O bot. With 500,000 health, he is a threat and can easily end your entire run. Never mind, he's as slow as a snail. Snake! An act so important that got delayed 3 times. The original plan was to release it on the 3rd of November, then it was changed to the 10th because of time constraints, and then it was changed to the 11th at 12 PM Eastern Standard Time because of Asia's time zone, and then it was finally changed to 7 PM Eastern Time Zone to polish up some stuff, and finally it was released on 10 PM Eastern Standard Time 2 hours later after the original plan. Anyways, I have to be in the voice call with some friends and we tried to beat the event. Take note that there were no balance changes at this time. We failed for 4 hours straight. Nobody could literally beat this event. Here's some highlights of the session. The developers proceeded to drop a patch note on the entire event, changing that stupid actor spam, making batteries drop a lot more so I don't throw the entire game, and a whole lot of this later, the amount of cash actually started changing depending if you chose solo, duo, trio, or quad, and with the TDS Discord finally reopening and people were starting to make strategies, I then reattempted another day and eventually beat Act 3 with his trio strategy. So, after all of this, Act 3 is a very anticlimactic finale to the most hyped out event ever. I swear, everyone was talking about this. Look on Twitter, look on Discord, look on Reddit, it's all over there. When people found out the boss was just 2 floating hands, Master Hand and Crazy Hand by the way, instead of the narrator or the purple binary guy from the Christmas event, they grabbed their pitchforks and stormed towards Tower Defense Simulator headquarters. The story makes no sense here. Like, why did the narrator suddenly turn evil? And what happened to the previous cutscenes that made Act 3 so anticipated in the first place? And why is the act an amalgamation of the Duck Hunt and Night 4s and the Night 4 events instead of being something original? And why was the event so impossibly hard to beat day 1? Act 3 is just so boring and it's just not fun to play. Many consider it the worst event in Tower Defense Simulator history, and I can agree with them. After the balance changes, the event went from impossible to a freaking joke. People could literally beat this by themselves glitchless. You even get a special hat for beating the event, although it was very buggy and whoever obtained the hat will not be able to receive other UGCs. I guess I'll be wearing this for now. I'm pretty sure the only good thing to come out of this event was the towers. More on that later though.
Warning. The following segments are just me talking about the cosmetics, such as skins and emotes, that have been added in the update. If you want to take a look at the towers or my final opinion on the event, please skip to these timestamps that are shown on screen, or by using the chapters feature in the description, which may or may not work.
Now for the more cosmetics tab of the event, which is probably the most time-consuming part. In the rewards tab in the lobby, there's a battle pass where you can collect pumpkins that are randomly dropped by enemies that are wearing a giant pumpkin on their head. You can see how much you have in the top right corner in-game or in the rewards tab. Reach a certain amount and you will unlock some neat rewards. There's even a crate in the shop for 4,000 coins, where you can unlock some older skins from previous events or newer ones. The Battle Pass skins are based off of 3 different themes. Firstly is visual arts with a Da Vinci set of skins. The second is theater with a masquerade set of skins. And the third are some spooky ones to better fit the theme since this is a Halloween update. I'm not really gonna go into much detail, but here's Masquerade Scout. I mean, pretty cool, right? This skin just showcases what most of the Masquerade skins are. Towers with scarlet clothing and drama-esque masks and golden weapons. Next up is Da Vinci Sniper and it's made of wood. That's literally it. The texturing is nice though, but not a very interesting skin to talk about. Da Vinci Militant is pretty irrelevant because, let's face it, nobody uses the Militant. Nobody! You go up to some person, you ask them, hey, do you use Militant? And they say, no, of course not, who the hell uses Militant? And so is Masquerade Cowboy, but that's just my opinion. To be honest, the only thing that really piqued my interest is that during levels 0 and 3, it only has one hand, until it gets replaced by a ghost arm levels 4 and up. Frankenstein Electroshocker is a pretty cool skin, not gonna lie. I really like the Tesla coils on its back at later levels, and the Mad Scientist hair is the cherry on top. But unfortunately, there was a glitch where the max level will literally take off its shirt, too bad I don't have any footage, instead of getting a new vest. Here's something a little bit more special, the Masquerade Warden, with a violin of some sort and its floating hand. The more you level it, the more accessories the Warden gets, like gloves, a cape, and a golden mask looking thing. The floating hand also gets upgraded. It really does look like it can pack a punch. There's also a unique sound effect for the attack, which probably is gonna get annoying very fast. Next on the list is the crossbow turret. Reminds me of the X-bow from Clash of Clans, not gonna lie. The shooting sound effect is really the goddamn Minecraft bow sound effect, which I'm assuming is a placeholder. Take a listen. The skin is pretty unique, gaining a black paint job at its final level, and oddly has a muzzle flash, even though it's a crossbow. Must be a pretty futuristic crossbow, huh? By the way, this is the first turret skin to be added in 3 years. Pretty mind-blowing. After that is Masquerade Medic. Pretty standard skin, but the final animation is pretty out of place. The Medic uses its hearts to attack, which have their own sound effects, although they're not very noticeable. So have a listen. Then there is Gravedigger Engineer. I mean, it's alright, but it has its own deploy sound effect for some reason, and the other skins don't. And it's also the first engineer skin to feature a custom sentry model, featuring a coffin. The teddy bear Easter egg is also shown here, and I got really lucky during the showcase. Overall, a pretty basic skin, but a nice one to have nonetheless. Finally, the reward for 100% completing the stupid battle pass, we have Masquerade DJ booth, featuring a conductor with 2, look, I don't know what these are, and some instruments, such as cellos at level 0 to 2, saxophones and harps at level 3, drums and trumpets at level 4, and finally, trombones at level 5, all with a very ghostly effect. The DJ itself gains some gloves at level 1, an eyepiece and a hat at level 2, uses 2 hands to conduct at level 3 while gaining some sweet golden bands on his shirt, then gets a hat that resembles the narrator's top hat at level 4 while its eyes glow, and finally dances along with the music while crazily conducting and surprisingly controlling all of these instruments. Yeah, get this skin while you can because this is great. Unfortunately, the only downside is that there isn't an original composition for the skin, whereas other DJ skins do. Instead, Masquerade DJ opts for the Halloween 2020 lobby theme, which I know, many people dislike. Besides skins, there's also some other goodies that are stuffed in the past. As I mentioned before, there are coins and premium crates, but there are also new emotes, 3 to be exact. The first is Spooky Dance emote, where you do this little dance. I swear I've seen this before, but if you have, tell me in the comments. The second is this popcorn emote. You can eat it, you can throw it, you can walk with it, you can jump with it. Thirdly is the Z-step emote, where you walk like a zombie. Pretty disappointing, not gonna lie, but the catch is that other players can come up to you and press E to mimic the emote. There's also purchasable emotes in the shop, but I don't currently have them all because of this stupid daily emotes thing. Sigh. Bring the old emotes back. Anyways, I snagged 2 of them while editing and here they are. The footwork emotes with its own music. The Charleston with its ragtime dance. And finally, for the patch notes, the conga, which seems to be inspired by the one in Team Fortress 2. There's also an odd binary name tag, where it does what it advertises, I guess. Your name becomes all purple and emits a binary effect. I mean, it's alright, but it'll never beat my glitchy name tag. You'll never know how to get it! Ooh. We're still not done with skins though. There's a new crate in the shop that was added, which is the Halloween crate. The crate brings back skins from older Halloween events, such as 2019, which I'm really bummed about because my exclusive skins are no longer rare. 2020, which I'm really excited for, because I didn't play during 2020, and 2021. There's also some new additions to the crate, which I will talk about because, well, they're new. There's only a couple though, and that includes Ghostbuster Accelerator, Necromancer Quick Boss, Skull Trooper Scout, Pumpkin Demoman, and Pumpkin Ranger. The pumpkin skins are pretty self-explanatory, but Pumpkin Demoman apparently loses his China Lake grenade launcher at level 3, which is really odd. Skull Trooper Scout is what you expect from a scout skin. Simple but eye-catching. It gains a skull mask at level 3 and gains some more armor at level 4. Necromancer Quick Boss is actually a pretty bad for a 4,000 quid skin, but Ghostbuster Accelerator on the other hand isn't. It's an accelerator skin, so you know it's gonna be of high quality. It gains a red tinted beam instead of a blue one, and gains the average ghost busting gear the more you level it up. At the final level, it gains a red ghost mask. It's a nice skin and I'll definitely be using this in the future. Can't have a TDS event without exclusive towers, I suppose. 2 towers were released, one costing gems and the other for beating Act 3. They could all be purchased with Robux, of course, but it's better to obtain them legitimately and without paying. The first tower to be added in this update is the Necromancer, costing 1,800 gems, or 1,500 Robux if you're too lazy to grind hardcore. Despite costing gems, the Necromancer is an exclusive tower, but so a seasonal tower, where it only appears in the shop on Halloween, although it has been extended to December 1st because of this event. His description reads, deal damage to collect souls. Souls get used to summon gravestones, and he does what the description does. He definitely deals damage, firing a projectile of magic that can pierce, and then he can definitely summon gravestones. He has this weird yellow bar similar to the accelerator, although instead of an overcharge, it displays the amount of souls the guy has collected. When the bar is full, he can spawn a couple gravestones on the path. Please note that the yellow circle is where he can spawn the gravestones. This is crucial. The Necromancer also has an ability, Raise the Dead, which is self-explanatory. All the gravestones in his path can summon into skeletons similar to them in Act 2 that ram into enemies. Level 1, costing 750 in-game cash, just gives more damage. Upgrading the Necromancer to level 2 allows it to spawn skeletons with swords, who act similarly to sword elves that spawn from Elf Camp. Level 3, costing a whopping 10,000 in-game cash, unlocks level 2 gravestones, where more souls you collect will allow the Necromancer to basically upgrade its gravestones, allowing it to spawn giant skeletons and skeleton knights, along with more of the previous skeleton variants. Level 4, costing a whopping $30,000 in-game cash, replaces the Necromancer's attack from a piercing attack to a beam. The upgrade also allows the Necromancer to upgrade the gravestones even further, to level 3, which spawns Executioner skeletons with 3,000 health, the most out of every spawnable non-exclusive unit in the game, and hollow guards that look identical to the Act 2 counterpart. The Necromancer shines in clearing out smaller groups of enemies and wiping out slow bosses, Necromancer bosses, etc., but will struggle against major bosses like the Molten Boss or hell, even the Gravedigger. When summoning skeletons, the gravestones will self-destruct, dealing a pretty unnoticeable 75 explosion damage. The Necromancer is a very niche tower that probably won't be used in many strategies, but it's a fun tower to play around with. It's more so a trophy than a viable troop that will use in defenses. More about statistics, it was stated by the developers that the Necromancer was still a very experimental tower that was rushed to meet the deadline of October 31st to match the Act 2 release date. When the tower first came out, it had no attack or summon sound effects, and some skeletons could even walk towards the exit instead of the entrance. Fortunately, this was fixed on the same day. The rebalance has currently not come out as of writing the script, and probably will be when you are watching this video. The second tower to be released alongside Act 3, and was the reward for beating it, is the Jester. When it first came out, I thought it wasn't a good tower, because of the showcase video I saw online. But I was terribly wrong. Very wrong even. The Jester is probably one of the best event towers in the game, rivaling or even surpassing the Gladiator, who has received 2 subsequent nerfs in previous updates, and was praised for being one of the best early game towers, and even late game in TDS. The Jester's unique gimmick is to throw different types of bombs to support the main defenses, fire for continuous damage and to eliminate leads, ice which slows down enemies and oddly is not affected by the Pyromancer, poison which lowers the defense by a very small amount, and confusion, which makes the enemies walk towards the entrance instead of the exit for a few seconds. It immediately has hit detection, making it a viable option for the early game. The only downside is that you cannot deal high amounts of damage early on, making the Jester a bad response towards normal bosses. Although, if you were using it for support, it can excel in slowing down the bosses with the Ice Bomb, allowing more time for, let's say, a Golden Scout to defeat the boss without it leaking. Late game, the Jester can use their confusion and poison bombs to ward off higher health enemies, while high damage towers can eliminate them. It can even confuse wave 40 bosses, like the Fallen King in this example. The poison bombs get even stacked. You can deal tons of damage towards the minions that the fallen king spawns. The only known downside to this tower is its range, which is pretty minuscule. Luckily, a DJ boost or a ranger can help out and increase the range of the jester. Two towers that were originally in the game were reworked: the Ranger and the Minigunner. The Ranger is a bit more interesting, reducing the amount of levels from 5 to 4 and granting a 15-second range buff at level 2, being increased to 20 at level 3. At the final level, it deals explosion damage. The more towers get reworked, the less they make sense. I mean, the Ranger does range, and that's for sure. Besides all of that, this rework is pretty good and definitely helped out the tower a lot. Every skin got a remodel, but I unfortunately don't own all of them, so I can't really showcase them all. The Minigunner is up next, where it costs way more but deals more damage on its own. It even gains light detection, which probably isn't that useful inside or outside of hardcore, the only non-limited game mode where light enemies are present. The golden variant is similar, although costing way more than its base counterpart and dealing way more damage per second. So I don't really have much to say about these reworks. They were very much mandatory but not that interesting. We finally come to the end of this quote-unquote biggest update ever in Tower Event Simulator history. So, what's my overall opinion? Honestly, not that great. Halloween updates are usually huge. Just take a look at the Solar Eclipse event or the Halloween 2019 event, where it completely overhauled a majority of the game for an event. The Lunar Overture doesn't feel that revolutionary, similar to Christmas 2022, where the event was just a reskin of the Defend the Center game mode, although slightly tweaked in a way. The fan service was definitely there in Acts 1 and 2, but completely gone in Act 3. To be honest, the current Act 3 could have worked well as an Act 4. Who knows what the developers were thinking when they were brainstorming ideas. I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat and say it feels like the developers were merely focusing on the UGC part of the event and not the event itself. Just take a look at the title. Free UGC comes before the event, but it's all a conspiracy. Everything else though was incredible. New towers are always a welcoming feature, although to obtain them is very time consuming. Buying them isn't a really good option either, since it costs $70 in Robux to just go from tier 1 to tier 16 in the battle pass. If you're just going for the DJ skin, I'd advise you to spend $40 on the plushie DJ boost because that is far more superior and dominant than the free-to-play one. The event is a solid 6 out of 10 for me. Not very memorable, but fun nonetheless. Hey, look at that, we finally reached the end of the video. I have actually nothing much to say. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see more stupid TDS content, and if this video performs actually well, then I'll buy one of those stupid plushies and review them. And I'm also pretty sick right now, as you can see, and I guess no uploads for a few days, so just remember to subscribe and, do that. Yeah, now bye.